Alright, Chaos Head Noah. I'm pretty sure I've stated in both other videos that I solely play FPS games. I've played story games here and there, but they always involve shooting as the main aspect of the game. All I've seen of this from, buying it on Steam is that it's a book-looking horror game. That's all I know.
視線が空から降ってくる。
Oh my goodness.
その瞳はいつも僕を見つめていて、
Is there a way to change
眼
this?
差しは熱くて真っ黒な雨雲を突き抜けて、雨のように僕へと降り注ぐ。僕を見るな。雨の冷たさより、背中を預けている瓦礫の冷たさのせいで、さっきから体の震えが止まらない。ひどく寒い。突き刺さってくる誰のものかもわからない天からの視線。それから逃げるように僕はわずかに首を持ち上げて周囲を見回す。そこにあるのは崩壊した街。そこにあるのは絶望。そこにあるのは死。そこにあるのは無。誰もいない。誰も動いていない。誰も生きていない。聞こえるのはただ降り続ける雨の音だけ。このまますべてを、生きているものも死んでいるものも、すべてを優しく包み込んで洗い流してしまうんだろうか。全部の出来事が単なる妄想だったらよかったんだけど、どうやらそうでもないらしい。体が動かない。動かせるのはかろうじて首と瞳だけ。体が震えているけど、そんなのただの生理現象でしかない。僕の意志じゃない。僕は身を震わせたいなんて思ってない。僕の自由にならないなら、こんなの僕の体じゃない。あるいは生まれた時から僕は自由なんかじゃなかったかもしれない。心の保管してある場所なんて誰にもわからないんだ。それなのに、一体誰がこの体の中に僕の心があるって言い切れるんだ。でも、だったら僕はどこにいたんだろう。僕はここにいるのかな。僕はどこにもいないのかな。すべてが静止している、壊れてしまった世界に、ふと死の雨以外の音が響く。無の中から浮かび上がってくるたった一つの湯。君は誰？その肌が青白く見えるのは雨の冷たさに凍えているから？それとも君がもう死んでいるから？でも彼女は震えていなかった。僕を見るな。ひどく悲しそうにも見える。狂気じみているようにも見える。何も映していないようにも見える。もしも世界には僕と彼女の二人だけしかいなくて、こうしてお互いだけを永遠に見つめ合っていたら、僕の世界は彼女の瞳に映るものだけになるのかな。彼女の世界は僕の瞳に映るものだけになるのかな。彼女の瞳に映るものは僕。僕の瞳に映るものは彼女。そう考えると、世界は途端に矮小化する。
ね
不意に僕の耳に届くとてもきれいなノイズ。彼女はうなだれて両手を左右に広げる。まるであの雨雲の上へ向けて飛び立とうとするかのように。あるいはこの雨すべてを受け止めようとするかのように。
あなたを待つ。
うなだれた彼女の表情は僕の位置からも伺い知ること。
What am I watching?
雨の薄幕の向こうで君はどんな顔をしている？
殺してあげる。
天使、乱舞する光の羽は、僕を祝福しているのか、それとも、ああ、そうか。理解したよ。
Yeah, I think she's gonna stab you.
僕を殺してくれるんだね。ゆっくりと、倒れている僕の前に彼女が膝をつく。いまだに彼女はうなだれたまま。僕の頭をそっと抱えてくる。僕を見てくれないことに、僕はほっとして、ただ身を委ねた。耳元でささやき、きれいなノイズ。でも、よく聞こえない。暖かくて、柔らかくて、優しくて、甘美な感触。それは麻酔のようで、不思議なことに体の震えがゆっくりと収まっていく。彼女のかすかな鼻息が僕の頬をくすぐる。とても甘い匂い。ふと胸に圧迫感を覚えた。彼女の持
Oh
ってい
shit.
た大きな剣が僕の胸の皮膚を裂き、肉をえぐり、骨の間を縫い、ゆっくりと体の中に沈み込んできている。でも、彼女のキスという麻酔にかけられて、もう痛みを感じない。こんなにも優しく殺してくれるから、不意に切なくなって、涙が溢れそうになって、それをごまかすために、彼女の頭越しに雨を落とし続けている鈍色の空を見上げた。空が滲んでいるのは、雨のせい、涙のせい。もう、あの視線も感じない。もう、何もない。薄れゆく意識の中で、僕は空へと手を伸ばす。誰か、教えて。僕たちのあの空は、どこへ行ったんだろう。
Finish the prologue, yeah. Holy shit. I haven't pressed a button. Do I need to press one now? You can't see a gaze. It can see you, but you can't see it. It's weird. For as long as I could remember, I'd often felt a gaze staring at me from somewhere. I would turn around and nobody would be there, but I'd be sure somebody was looking at me. I could feel this sensation, like something crawling on my neck. Was I just too self-conscious? Did I have some kind of phobia about how... Until elementary school, I honestly believed that it was God. God is watching me, I would say. I wrote an essay about something like that. Of course, looking back, I realized how silly it was. I was the biggest Chinook dork. Or Chuni. If somebody were to ever read that essay, I'd be so embarrassed. I'd never leave my house again. Phew. I still remember the thing's title. Whose eyes are those? The back of my chair I was resting in made a creaking sound, like the voice of an old woman.
僕を見るな。
Don't look at me. I whispered those words as I looked up at the ceiling, feeling sick and annoyed. Of course, no one responded. This was my room. I lived alone. Nobody was here but me. Just for the hell of it, I turned around. The room was longer than it was wide, and it was a little dark. This is a fucking shipping container. The only light in the room came from my computer desk light. My computer's desk light. Okay, we got Google open, some kind of chat room. The news, maybe? And we got game on the left. There were no windows, so of course it was dark. How do you breathe in here? Since I had no way of looking outside, I had no way of knowing if it was night or day. I turned towards a corner of the dark room and spoke to no one in particular. Got a lot of anime figurines, my guy.
僕の名前は西条匠、17歳。水明学園2年。と言っても学校にはほとんど行ってないけど。
My name is Takumi Nishijo. I'm 17 years old. I'm a second year student at Sumi Academy. I barely ever go to school though.
まあそれでも勉強はできる方だよ。
Well, I guess I'm pretty smart at least.
定期テストはちゃんと受けてる。しかもそれなりに上位の点数を取ってるからね。
I always show up to take my test and I usually get above average grades.
頭はいいんだ。
Yeah, I'm pretty smart. Of course, nothing happened when I said this. Nobody appeared out of the darkness. The dark space just existed, silently. But darkness stimulates the mind, makes it see delusions. Not being able to see whatever's there makes it an unknown. You know in your head what's impossible, but somewhere inside your heart, you imagine terrible things lurking within the darkness. Not me, motherfucker. Jeez, whenever a scary delusion popped into my head, my mind always ran away with it. I kept talking to try and shake it out of my
僕は
mind.
現在アウェイじゃなかった。渋谷で一人暮らしをしてる。
Right now, I live alone, away from home. I mean, in Shibuya. Okay, so he's talking to get rid of the fucking scary thoughts. So whenever he talks, I'm not gonna read them.
この紅会館ビルは父さんの経営するビル会社の管理下にあるんだけど。
Actually, I am gonna read them because if I skip right after he's done talking, depending on how fast you can read, you might not read all of it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read them after him. I live on the top of Kurenai building, which my dad's real estate company owns.
その屋上に設置されたコンテナハウスを格安で借りてるんだ。
They rent me a really cheap little house here made of a shipping container. Yeah. I don't know if I'd call that a
街の環境は
house.
最悪。僕が住んでる新船町は小さな坂が多いから疲れるし、すぐ近くにラブホ街もあるし。
There's a lot more words to read than he just spoke. Living in this city sucks. The part of Shibuya I live in, Shinsencho, has lots of little hills that tire you out when you're walking. There are a bunch of love hotels right next to where I live too. Love hotels.
ここが秋葉なら最高
Go
だ
in
った
there, my guy. Oh, never mind. I think he's like 17. I really wish I lived in Akihabara. Akihabara.
ほんと渋谷ってひどい街だ。円数で言うと、ディーンズバレーくらいひどい。
Yeah, Shibuya's a total shithole. It's as bad as Dean's Valley and ESO. Okay. ESO was an MMORPG that I had made my life's work. Oh, cool. So he's developing the game. It's short for Empire Sweeper Online. I spent almost all day and almost all night playing the game, passing my time in the world of Basslard. Dean's Valley is an area in ESO with a lot of really aggravating monsters in it. They use all kinds of obnoxious status ailment attacks, but they don't even drop decent items. Stay the fuck away from it. Anybody who grinds there is an idiot. Yeah, exactly. Good players give up on it quickly and head to the next area. The forest of Leate? And obviously, I'm a good player.
というわけで、
Hey, good for you.
恋愛資本主義者が集まるこんな街は即刻滅ぶべきだね。
What's popping up at the top of the screen? It fucking pops in and then goes away. I don't know what that is. So yeah, this town with its DQNs and I love capitalists needs to be blasted off the face of the earth.
でもこの部屋の住み心地はまあまあ我慢できるレベル。
This room, though, isn't so bad.
PC とネット環境は最高水準クラスが揃ってるからね。
My computer and my internet connection are both first rate.
まあ
Oh
学
yeah,
生にし
good
て
for
は
you.
上等の基地じゃないかな。あ、だから僕はこの部屋のことをベースって呼んでる。
For a student, I guess it's a pretty good base of operations. Oh, that's why I called this room the base. Of course, nothing in the room moved except for me. Talking to myself was starting to make me feel like an idiot, so I decided to stop introducing myself to whoever was watching me. Stop saying that someone is watching you.
汚い部屋だな。
Unless you're talking about me. This place is freaking filthy, though. It smelled moldy. The air was so stale and damp, you could feel it on your skin. Clean it, motherfucker. The floor was piled high with empty plastic drink bottles and trays left over from convenience store lunches. The bed was stacked high with H games. I always ended up having to sleep up on the sofa.
片付け
You
ろ
just
よな。
clean it.
誰だよ散らかしっぱなしにしたのは。って僕か。
Yeah, you're fucking sick. Clean your room, you filthy sicko. What idiot makes this mess anyway? Oh, I guess it was me. Whatever that word is. My creepy laugh kind of annoyed me, so I kicked the plastic bottle at my feet. Flew up almost high enough to hit my figure shelf. I screamed and leaned forward, using my own body to block it. I've got almost 100 wives. Okay. Big sisters and daughters. What the fuck? And I can't let them get hurt. They keep me going, so they're very important to me. Oh, this guy's sick in the head. I cleaned and organized the shelf once a week. It was the only cleaning I did. Every day I tried to find new angles and positions to make them look cuter. I didn't want my beloved daughters and sisters getting dusty, so I always made sure to clean them. I hate judging people, but this is a little much. I breathed a sigh of relief and tossed the bottle into a corner, then faced back towards my PC. The PC sat in the far corner of my room. Next to the monitor was a figure from my favorite anime, BT, or Bloodtoon, the animation. She smiled at me while posing cutely.
セーラー、かわいいよ、セーラー。
I'm not reading that one, you pretty much get it. I whispered as Seraton and I stared into each other's eyes for a minute. Then I gulped down the bottle of soda next to the computer. It was lukewarm. That's gross. But that didn't bother me. Of course it didn't.
円すらないと。
Now then, time for some ESO. I sat down into the chair and put my hands on the keyboard. Just the act of sitting at the computer was enough to calm me. My ESO character, Nightheart, was a paladin, already on his second reincarnation. He was level 50, the max of course. He was also the highest ranked player on any active server. Almost every player knew the name Lightning Fast Nightheart. And they all treated me like a god. Rare weapons, rare armor, rare magic, I had it all. I had 95% of all the rare items in the game. Not as many as I wanted, honestly. What? And I had more money points than I could ever use in a lifetime. RMT, or real money trading, was how I made money to use in the real world. I had enough to survive for 6 months without having to get a part-time job. I was a master of the chat tool. I used it for almost all my communication. I even saved a life on @Chan, a huge message board, once. And I was always there whenever a festival was going down. Oh, right. And I had way more than 100 friends on Free Para. That's a social network. Respect, trust. It was all right here. I didn't go to school. It wasn't that I didn't want to go. Just there was no point. I did all my studying on the internet. And obviously you can do that at home. Of course, you needed to attend a certain number of classes to graduate. So I went just enough to get the bare minimum passing grade. This was the smartest way for a student to live. This is not healthy, my guy. My parents were pretty obnoxious about this stuff. So I made myself a schedule for when I'd go to school. Tuesday, Friday. Damn, so he's going to school just 2 days, huh? He's fucking living the life for about 2 weeks, and then you get tired of this shit or you go crazy. According to the sheet, all I had to do was go to school 2.5 times a week. The people who went every day called me a creepy otaku. But if you ask me, I'd tell you that they were morons for going just because someone told them they should. Anyway, my life here is not that bad. Oh God. Oh crap. I got so distracted by that gaze, I forgot I was talking to Grim. What's wrong? You're not responding. Did you fall asleep? Hey, Nightheart. Grim was the screen name of a guy I always partied up with in ESO. I never met him in real life, but we talked all the time online. He brought me a lot of valuable information. He was like my own personal informant, you could say. I sat down and began to type at the keyboard. Sorry, I didn't fall asleep, but I kind of spaced out. LOL. You must be really tired. You not sleeping enough? Doing hentai stuff with your girlfriend all day, all night. Oh my goodness. I'm not into 3D girls. Grim and I would talk about all kinds of things. Since I couldn't see his face, it was easy to tell him anything. Yeah, it's usually how it goes. Of course, in the real world, that's not how it would go. Nope. You're a 2D man then. H games. That's what that means. Okay. You're really in a hentai mood tonight. Oh, this is getting a little gay. You always have really perverted delusions though, right? You used to always talk about them. You really were into them. Something about doing naughty things with a girl in a school swimsuit. What the fuck? Was I? I don't really remember. Yeah, okay, look how fast he pivoted away. If that's what you want to talk about, let's discuss something near to my heart. What the fuck? School swimsuit plus glasses. Why did it just go quiet? What? What am I saying yes or no to? School swimsuit and glasses? Is this what we're going to talk about next? Let's go no. Competition. Swimsuits are better than school swimsuits. Oh, competition swimsuits are better than schools. I don't know the difference between them. I'm going to go yes, because saying school swimsuits is a little weird. The swim cap is a must. What am I fucking playing? I'm going to hit no. Oh, I was choosing what he was going to say. Okay. Let's see. Glasses. Who needs glasses? Actually, I prefer competition swimsuits. Swim caps are an absolute no-go. Not a chance in hell. LOL. Come on, man. You really like swimsuits, huh? What man doesn't? I mean, really. Aren't you 17 years old, you sick fuck? It's not about just showing skin, you know. A fully dressed girl with no panties is sexier than... What the fuck, man? It's sexier than panmoral, right? It's the same deal. I mean, I'm okay with either. What the fuck is panmoral? What? Are you telling me you don't understand how hot no panties stuff is? I like my girls totally naked. Oh, God. You don't understand Mo at all. A complete and utter perv. That's our Nightheart. We fear him, but we love him. LOL. Calm down, man. I mean, maybe I did get a little excited. I try to be the cool, silent type. Cool, yeah. Don't laugh. Anyway, what were we talking about before I fell asleep? I mean, I'm sure it was ESO stuff. You forgot. Come on, man. We were talking about the murders in the 3D world. Murders in the 3D world. What was he talking about? Hello, Shogun. Oh, Shogun entered the room. Current members 3. Nightheart's up. I said, but Shogun didn't reply. Was this asshole ignoring me? I was trying to be friendly here. Didn't he know who I was? Chill the fuck out. I was lightning fast Nightheart. Damn it. This is supposed to be a no lurker channel anyways. Well, whatever. I decided to ignore him. That's the nice thing about the internet. You don't have to care about other people unless you want to. That's fucked up. The murders. I don't care about anything 3D. Is that like real life to them? IRL is 3D? It's probably something stupid anyway, right? Yeah, I guess. But pretty shocking still. Shocking. Some kind of grisly serial killings or something. A lot of bad stuff had been happening lately. More girl pictures. Oh, right. You can't handle girl. LOL. I mean, I can handle it. No, I actually didn't want to see any of that stuff. There were a lot of fakes and altered images going around lately, and trolls love to set all kinds of traps. You ended up seeing a lot of the stuff whether you wanted to or not. So what, gore pictures? Well, I guess I'm starting to get used to it. And to think you're the strongest paladin in base lard. I don't PK though. PK meant player killing. It's when you attack a stranger and steal their equipment or money points. Only DQNs did that. DQNs were thugs and losers, the lowest form of life. I I'm no Chew. I don't do things that would make other people upset. I never violate ESO's rules. That's my policy. I did a shit ton of RMT though. Yep, I was about to say you were real world trading. Yeah, you're the hero we all love and adore, lol. Machisuke. Machitsuki. New generation. You know about it, right? New generation. What the hell was that? It wasn't something I already knew about, right? Grim seemed to act like I was supposed to know about it. What's New Gen? The New Generation Madness. They call it New Gen Online for short. It's the weird serial murders going on in Shibuya right now. It's all happening right near your house. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, right. It was coming back to me. But I only knew the basic outline. I hadn't really looked into it. Brother, if people are getting killed by your place, you probably need to look into it. I searched for New Gen and got a hit immediately. Let me see.
この1ヶ月の間に渋谷で発生した2つの事件のことをニュージェネと呼ぶ。
Two incidents that have taken place in Shibuya over the past month are referred to as New Gen.
その犠牲者は胎児を含めて7人。
Damn, there are 7 victims in total, including an unborn baby.
1つ目の事件は友人同士5人による高層ビルからの集団ダイブ。
The first was a group of 5 friends who jumped off a skyscraper together. What the
2つ目の
fuck?
事件では男性の体内から胎児が出てきた。
Oh, the second was an unborn baby found in a man's stomach. These are serial killings? These don't fucking sound like serial
マジか
killings.
よ。
Wait, seriously? I felt a cold chill run down my spine. I found myself turning around again and glancing around the dark room. Nobody's in your fucking shipping container. Taboo News had a lot of old articles about New Gen, so I quickly skimmed them. Supposedly, the whole internet was talking about it, calling it the New Generation Madness. There were 2 incidents. One was a murder case that was so brutal that some TV stations weren't even willing to have their anchors describe it. In the first one, the group dived off a skyscraper. There were rumors that it might have been a murder too. What? The parents and friends of the deceased all said they weren't the type to commit suicide. There was no sign of a motive, and from a lot of other pieces of circumstantial evidence, it was... Fuck, I pressed the button. Took a quick look. Well, starting to shake and shiver. Not really. Don't care. Look at this. Oh god, what are we clicking on? What is this? A picture of the corpse. Grim's enjoying making fun of me, huh? Yeah, don't click on that, please. He did this stuff sometimes. But if I let him get me, I'd lose my reputation as Nightheart. No matter what I was in the real world, in ESO, I was a god, the strongest. I knew everything. I was stronger than everybody. I was a knight fighting for justice. Nobody was going to make fun of me. I worked up my courage and I clicked on the URL. You don't have to click it. Tell him you clicked on it. It's not going to tell him if you saw it or not. Yeah. What the hell was this picture? LOL, you got me. Who drew this? I whipped it up in 2 minutes just now. You're our generation's Picasso. LOL. Anyway, that was fun, but I'm going to go to sleep. I'm going to sleep. See you tomorrow in Baselard. Grim left the room. Oh, right. That Shogun guy was still here. I'd totally forgotten about him. Not that he mattered. Yeah, this is the serial killer. Let's leave the fucking Discord chat as well. I wasn't feeling that tired, so I decided to do some grinding in ESO. Oh, wait. Today was the day Bloodtoon. AI... Holy shit. I need to go to sleep. Today was the day Bloodtoon aired. I didn't have a TV in my room. All I needed was a PC. There you go. It's 15 more minutes till it starts, huh? I guess I'll go to the bathroom first. Yeah, let's not go outside after you just read about fucking killings happening in your neighborhood. I looked at the figure of Seratan next to my monitor and grinned. I was going to get to see her today. I couldn't wait. What? Just as I went to close the chat window, though. Huh? Shogun had typed something.
なんだよこいつ
Why is
急に。
Why is he talking all of a sudden? Thought he was a lurker, Chew. But from the file type, it looked like a link to an image, but don't click on it. Someone I didn't know and someone who had never even talked to me was suddenly sending me a link. I gulped, without even realizing I'd done so. You can still leave, you don't gotta click on it. I didn't know why, but I felt a terrible premonition, one I'd never felt with any interaction online before. Of course, didn't want to click it. Oh, of course I didn't want to click it. I glanced over at the clock. There were only 12 minutes left until my date with Sierratan. I'm gonna keep pronouncing it different ways. I needed to wrap this up fast. What the heck kind of Kume's trap is this, lol? The world changes if you click it. LOL what? Let's get out of here. I tried to act like he wasn't scaring me. Honestly, I didn't even want to talk to this guy. He was making me nervous. I could feel myself sweating. Was this Shogun guy even Japanese? If he wasn't, there'd be no way I could talk to him. Yeah, true. Sorry for scaring you. Huh? He was talking normally. I felt a little relieved. How did he know he was scaring us? Nah. It's cool, man. Why were you lurking? Did somebody tell you to lurk for 6 months before you could type? I was thinking. Where are you from? For some reason, there was a strange pause. Oh, fuck! Shibuya. What the fuck was that? That made me jump. The articles I just read about the new generation incidents came racing back into my mind. Fuck, this is gonna be rough, man. Just envisioning them in my mind was bad enough. If I'd seen them in reality, I don't think I could have handled it. I have my volume cranked and I'm in a dark room. This is fucked. A man's stomach ripped open, the body of an unborn baby stuffed inside. And when those 5 friends jumped off a building, they were probably just chunks of meat after they landed. Just imagining it made me want to vomit. I quickly shook my head to get the images out of my mind. This Shogun guy was just so shady. It was making me delusional when I didn't need to be. I wished he would just go away. You don't have to fucking talk to him. Shibuya. I'm from Shibuya too. Oh god. A lot of weird stuff's happening here lately, huh? It's not over. Oh shit.
なんだこれ。
Shake and shiver. Weird ass equation. What the heck? Is this Shogun guy just crazy? I'm really smart and I had never seen that formula before. I decided to run a search for it. At times like these, it was great to have access to an internet connection. Oh, don't look that up. Huh? I'm not getting any hits. Was this guy just trying to pretend to be smart and writing out some nonsense formula? It didn't make any sense. This formula has murdered the possibilities of the world. I have no idea what that means. Anyway, what was that link? Holy shit. He typed in several URLs at blinding speed. What was this guy's deal? Was he just entertaining himself by trying to scare me? Was he a buddy of Grimm's and they were having fun with me? Stop fucking turning around that fast, you fuck. I felt the gaze again and looked around the room, but of course there was nothing there but a filthy dark room, the same as always. I felt a strange sense of terror. Feeling like you were constantly being watched kept you from ever truly relaxing.
僕を見るな。
Don't look at me. When I said those words, I could tell my voice was shaking. My old filthy room felt like something completely different now. They say that sometimes after you watch a horror movie or TV show, or hear a friend tell you a scary story, even a place you know well, like your own house, will start to seem strange and terrifying, and you'll be too scared to even go to the bathroom alone at night. Right now, I was experiencing something just like that.
くそ、釣られたりするもんか。
I'm not letting you trick me. This guy's fucking pissing himself, shaking. I leaned towards the monitor and I suddenly felt my right hand index finger tense up as I clicked one of Shogun's links. Hey, no. Yeah. To be honest, I had no idea why I'd done that. It wasn't like my hand moved on its own or anything like that. It was as if I'd done it without thinking. That was the only way I could describe it. It felt like exactly the wrong thing to do, but still, I found myself clicking it, as if the motion was completely natural.
なんだよこれ。
What the hell is this? I found myself staring at what seemed to be some kind of strange work of art. Or now we're staring at a fucking Coke bottle. Something that looked like a porcupine or a pincushion nailed to the wall in the shape of a cross. And beneath the porcupine, or pincushion, or whatever the hell it was, there was a pool of something red and black. There were also all these little piles of something that kind of looked like garbage. What the hell was this? The world of some self-proclaimed avant-garde artist? You know, one of those guys who'd make something disgusting and then say, with a completely straight face, I wanted to give expression to the chaos of this world. I'm not interested in that modern art crap, guys. It was strange, though. It wasn't really a guru image. It looked guru-ish, but that was as far as it went. So why? Why did it feel so real? Why did it feel like I was right there, watching it happen? Could a hallucination make you smell blood so intensely that you wanted to throw up? Could a hallucination smell so strong you wanted to vomit? I started to feel pain in my temples. The urge to vomit wouldn't go away. I tried to grab the mouse, but my hands were shaking too badly. My hand slipped off the desk and ended up grabbing the thing's cord instead. I moved it up the cord and put it back on top of the mousepad, and then closed the image. As I breathed the sigh of relief, I saw. Whose eyes are those? Oh shit, from the intro, I guess. I glared at the minimum necessary school schedule I'd created. I'd never gotten to see Blood Tune in real time last night. Of course, I saw it when it was upped to YouTube, so it didn't matter. But I still didn't feel any better. The last thing Shogun had said before he left. It was like he knew how scared I was of God's gaze. Couldn't possibly be a coincidence. Oh, never mind. It wasn't from the intro. That's what he says, or what he used to say, right, when he was younger, about the gaze that he would always feel. I tried to think of how he might know. Had my personal info leaked? Or was this somebody from ESO who was out to get me? A godlike player like me had lots of friends, but also lots of enemies. Well, most of those enemies were just haters, though. You know, guys who were jealous of Nightheart's strength and charisma. It was best to just ignore them. I'd always found. No. That wasn't what was important now. Even after I logged into ESO, I couldn't stop wondering who he was, to the point where I couldn't even concentrate on my grinding. To make matters worse, today was
最悪の日だ。
the worst day possible. It wasn't these fucking loud ass birds. It was unfortunately a day where I had to go to school. Damn! I didn't want to go, but if I didn't follow my schedule, it might come back to bite me later. I might even end up being held back.
眠いのに。
I'm so sleepy too. I did my best to stifle a yawn as I staggered down the road to school. At my walking speed, it would take about 10 minutes to get there. Once I started moving, I only felt worse. I felt exhausted. It was weirdly hard to breathe, and there was an awful sweat dripping from every pore in my body. This always happened whenever I went to school. Why did I have to go to school at all, when all it meant was suffering? I mumbled to myself as I stared down at the white lines on the asphalt, but I kept going. My route took me through Shoto Park. Once I was through the park, the school was right there. As I walked by the lake, I could see an older couple out for a morning walk, and a salaryman sitting on a bench reading the sports section. For a park on the outskirts of a major downtown area like Shibuya, it was quiet. It was a perfect place to relax. I sat down on one of the benches. Every day I went to school, I would always sit here in the morning and eat my breakfast, surrounded by leaves that were gradually beginning to change color, and watched the placid surface of the lake. Breakfast was a pastry I bought at the local convenience store. This would keep me going until evening. I never ate lunch. I'd be hungry as fuck. Nobody wanted to eat with a creepy otaku like me, and I certainly didn't want to eat alone when everyone else was in a group. I washed down the cream-filled pastry with a can of soda and stared up at the sky. The sky above Shibuya was always kind of cloudy and never totally clear. This was true no matter what season it was. My family's home was just a few stops away from Shibuya by train, but something made it feel like a whole different world. Oddly enough, the gray sky didn't bother me. I didn't know why, but it didn't. I looked at my watch to check the time. I needed to get going or I'd be late. Being late was the one thing I absolutely couldn't do. That's where you draw the line. If I wanted to only go to school 2.5 times a week, then I needed to make sure I didn't stand out at all costs. I needed to be like the air we breathe, completely invisible. I needed to avoid the DQNs, the delinquents and thugs I hated more than anything, and teachers, and spend my day undisturbed, in peace and quiet. That was my goal for my school life. Sume Academy. That was the name of the school I attended. It wasn't a very old school. It had been built within the last 10 years. This meant the building was clean and new, and it was often used as a set for TV shows with the school theme. That's pretty cool. The uniforms had been designed by some famous designer, and a lot of the dumber girls had chosen this school specifically to wear them. Ha! It was, in theory, a college prep school, but the school's test scores were slightly above average at best. School rules were really strict, but they were constantly telling prospective students about how much they respected student autonomy and independence. It was pretty funny how they tried to trick you. Well, I guess the rules were really there in name only. Nobody enforced them. So maybe they weren't trying to trick you after all. After all, even somebody like me who only went to school 2.5 times a week could still graduate. By the time I arrived at the school gate, there were enough students around me that it was starting to get noisy. I don't like crowds, so I kept my head down as I walked through the gate. In my mind, I was repeating, "Please nobody talk to me," over and over. Why would anyone talk to you? I thought you were a fucking, whatever it's called. I had a sister a year younger than me, who was also a student here. She would commute from home. Any day I ran into her was a disaster. It's not cool. Fortunately, I didn't see her today and made it safely to my classroom. I slunk into my seat without letting my eyes meet anybody else's. For a moment, I thought that some of the girls who were chatting near me looked my way, but it was just for an instant. They quickly returned to their conversation without saying a word. I knew they were all thinking that I was a weird, creepy loser. Get out of your head, man. But if you ask me, you 3D girls are way creepier than I am. If you find me creepy, just don't look at me. Just pretend I'm not here. Just do that, and I'll live my life without bothering any of you. If you DQNs decide to keep calling me creepy all the time instead, that's your problem, not mine. That's what I always say. I just can't understand it. Maybe you want attention from other people you call creepy? Is that it? I stayed in my seat, staring down silently at the surface of my desk, trying not to move at all.
Yo, Taku.
Out of nowhere, somebody slapped me lightly on the back. I jerked and then looked up, annoyed.
お前、今日って学校来る日だっけ?
Is today one of those days you come to school?
ミスミ君。
It was Daisuke Misumi, my classmate. He was standing there with a friendly smile on his face. He was handsome and supposedly, girls really liked him. He was also a self-proclaimed playboy, who according to him, was always dating several girls at once. What the fuck? From my perspective, he was a man who'd completely giving himself over to the DQN side. He wasn't somebody I wanted anything to do with, but
相変わらず暗い顔してんな。ゲームやりすぎで寝不足か？
man, you always look so gloomy. Up all night playing games? Didn't get enough sleep?
別に
No. He was the one person in class who always tried to talk to me. This guy's nice. He and I had nothing in common, either in terms of personality or hobbies, but for some reason he was always trying to talk to me. He's being nice to you, fucking, you know? It'd been this way ever since we became classmates at the start of the year, and I never managed to figure it out. If I was a girl, I could understand it, but why would he want to talk to a guy?
引きこもりだからしゃあねえかもしんねえけどよ。もっとこうハキハキ答えろって。
I mean, I know you're a hikikomori, and you never leave your house, but try to speak up when you're answering somebody's question. If I could, I would. Just talking to a 3D person was suffering. I got so nervous my voice wouldn't even come out right. Since I wasn't used to talking, I would always stammer. I'd get so scared of saying something stupid and being made fun of that I hated talking to anybody. This is depressing, man. You don't understand my pain. Don't tell me what to do. My fault. Fuck! Oh, and I'm not even a hikikomori either. A hikikomori is somebody who never leaves their room. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That's not who I am. You leave 2 days a week.
そういう態度されると、俺らホモと思われるじゃねえか。
I can understand you getting nervous around a girl, but if you keep acting like that when I talk to you, people are going to think we're both gay. Is he lying about dating those girls? He was actually into men. Pulled my body away from him, trying to put some distance between us. In doing so, I almost fell out of my chair, so I quickly grabbed onto my desk.
何してんだ？お前。
What the hell are you doing?
三角君はホモなの？
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
なわけねえだろ。お前、俺の女好きを忘れたのか？
Of course not. Did you forget about all those girls I'm dating?
だよね。ビビった。
Right. You scared me for a
ちなみ
second.
に、
And what's more? Yusumi looked around to see who was nearby before suddenly lowering his voice. He gave me a mischievous grin.
昨日、この
Mischievous
クラス
grin.
の女子で3人目をゲットした。
Oh, I slept with the third girl from this class yesterday. You want to hear who it was?
いいよ、別に。
No, not
なん
really.
だよ、もっと興味示せよ。田中だぜ、田中。
Oh, come on, act interested. It was
田
Tanaka.
中って誰？
Who's Tanaka?
お前、もうすぐ10月だってのに、未だに同じクラスのやつの顔を覚えてねえのか。
It's almost October and you don't even know the names of your classmates yet?
ま、3次元に興味ないんじゃ、それも当然か。
I guess that's just what everybody calls it, huh? Well, I guess... Oh, shit, I didn't even realize that's what it started, though. The sentence started with. Well, I guess if you're not into 3D women, that makes sense. He sighed and shrugged his shoulders. The one thing I could say for him was this. He never insulted my hobby. That is, my love of 2D characters. He never called me creepy. It wasn't his thing. But he never said anything about it. That's good. In that respect, maybe he wasn't such a bad guy after all. Maybe that was why, when he talked to me, I actually tried to talk back.
これでうちのクラスの可愛い女はほぼ攻略完了だ。
This guy's a fucking scumbag. That takes care of almost all the cute girls in this class.
そろそろ隣のクラスで守備範囲広げようかって思ってんだ
I'm
よ。
thinking of moving on to the girls in the next class over. What the fuck? Maybe he was a bad... Yeah, maybe he was a bad guy after all. At least, that's what the girls would think if they heard him.
D 組によ、めったに学校来ねえけど、すごくいい女がいるらしいんだよ。
There's this really cute girl in Class D who almost never comes to school.
なんか、そういう。
That's kind of hot, don't you think? This guy's fucking sick.
あ、お前
That's why he talks to you, because we're both fucking sick.
萌えだっけか
Oh, I guess you would say it's mo, not hot, right? Don't use that word when you don't even know what it means.
ま、お前の興味ねえ話は そろそろやめるか。
Anyway, I know you don't care about this stuff, so I'll stop talking about it.
ニュージェネの話知ってるだろ。
Oh, why'd the music cut off? So you heard about New Gen. To be honest, I was really surprised to hear that from him. I thought he was only interested in chasing skirts. I couldn't imagine him looking at a newspaper or reading the news.
集団ダイブの事件さ。
Did that say fuck? Did that say watching?
噂によると殺人らしいぜ。
That group dive. They say it was actually a murder.
マジだって書いてあったんだよ、スポ島に。
I mean it. It was in Sports Tokyo. Wait, Sports Tokyo was his source? Who could believe a thing written in that paper? That's one we were just reading. And anyway, I already knew that. And also, I didn't care.
聞いて驚け。その殺人鬼が女で、しかもかなり美人だって目撃証言があんだよ。
I get this. The killer was a girl, and a hot one too, according to the witnesses. Girl. As I looked at the excitement on Misumi's face, I finally understood it. So that's what compelled him to actually pick up a newspaper. It was a girl. It only made sense, I thought to myself. Wait, did that mean he was okay with dating a murderer as long as they were cute? I could see myself going for that if it was a 2D girl, but where the fuck did he just go? Misumi was looking out the window and off into the distant sky. He looked like he was on the cusp of achieving some great
どん
enlightenment.
なやつなんだろうな、犯人って。本当に美人なのかな。会ってみて。
I wonder what the killer is like. Is she really hot, you think? I'd love to meet her. Fuck, no, you wouldn't. This was a man who made all his decisions with his little head. I was sure of this
俺
now.
だけは殺されねえ自信があんだよな。だってほら、俺ってかっこいいだろ。いくら連続殺人鬼でも、俺みたいないい男に会ったら、コロッと惚れちゃうぜ。
She might kill other people, but she wouldn't kill me. I'm sure of that. I mean, just look at how cool I am, right? Even a serial killer would fall in love with me. And then she wouldn't kill him. And then she wouldn't kill him, he thought. Man, talk about an optimist. I found myself feeling scared by how confident he looked.
僕は興味ないから。
I don't really care.
でもよ、興味ないっつったって、犯人は絶対この辺うろうろしてんだぞ。どっかですれ違ってたりするかもしんねえし。
This guy's gonna fucking scare him. Sure, maybe not. But you know she's probably around this little town somewhere, right? You might pass her by any minute. Maybe Misumi was the killer. Ah! No, that was probably impossible. But I couldn't rule out the possibility that the killer was somebody from this school. If that turned out to be the case, maybe I could come up with something about how I'd gotten PTSD and be able to graduate without having to go to school.
なあ、今日俺と一緒に殺人現場見に行かね。ここから歩いて行けんだってよ。まだ血とか残ってるらしいぞ。
Hey, wanna go see the crime scene with me? It's within walking distance of the school. They say you can still see the blood. I didn't feel interested in the slightest. My goal for today was to get through my classes without any trouble, go home to Seirotan, and then go back inside the world where I was God.
小橋と長谷川は見に行ったって言ってたしよ。
本当に興味ないんだ。
I mean it. I don't care. What is this? I hated to disappoint Misumi when he was so excited, but I had no intention of going. I opened my mouth to squeak out some excuse, but he wasn't listening.
そしたら犯人とばったり会っちゃったりしてな。犯人は犯行現場に戻ってくるってよく言うだろ。
Maybe I'll run into her when we get there. You know, they say the criminal returns to the scene of the crime and stuff. This guy's gonna get fucking killed.
で、次はタクがターゲットにされるんだ。死をもって罪を償うみたいな。罪状はそうだな。引きこもってたからってことで。
I guess you'd be her next target. Then atone for your sins with death, like that. Your sins can be, I don't know, being a hikikomori, I guess.
僕は引きこもりじゃ。
I tried to protest, but I worried that he might hate me or try to bully me and just gulp down my words. I bit my lip and looked away from him. I found myself looking around the room and saw something written out on the blackboard. At first, I didn't really care what it was. All I noticed was that there was something written there. Or there was some writing there. Fuck. But the more I looked, the more something seemed wrong. Huh? Finally, I leaned out of my chair.
ちょっとどいて。
Out of the way.
おい、どうしたんだよ。
How? What's gotten into you? Oh, shit. Pushed past Misumi and walked up to the blackboard. When I saw those words written there, I felt like my heart was strangling itself in my chest. Whose eyes are those? The words I always silently said to myself whenever I felt the gaze of God. I'd never told them to anyone else. There was no one to tell them to. Not even Misumi. Fuck, I clicked my button. Why? Who? For what reason? I spun around and looked around the classroom. Only Misumi was paying any attention to me. Everyone else was talking to themselves or reading manga they weren't supposed to have at school, or sleeping at their desks. Ooh, who wrote this? When did they do it? Was that already on the blackboard when I'd come in? I couldn't remember. Usually I didn't pay attention to what was on the blackboard.
なあ、どうしたんだ。
Misumi walked up to me and grabbed me by the shoulder to shake me. Grabbed me by the shoulders to shake
聞
me.
いてる？
Are you listening?
おい、タク。
Yo, Taco! It didn't matter who had written them. It was just a coincidence. No. People use these words all the time. No, they do not. It was just some stupid scribbling. Yeah, just some stupid scribbling. I tried to tell myself that, but I was still really scared. I never did figure out who'd written them. I wanted to go around the class and ask, but I didn't have the courage. Before long, homeroom began. The teacher came in and asked who wrote this on the blackboard. He sounded annoyed and erased them. Fucking scary ass music for no reason. It was really creepy, but I decided I was going to force myself to behave normally. If I let myself seem scared, I'd just be admitting the message had something to do with me. And it didn't, okay? It was just a coincidence. I kept telling myself that over and over until it was time for me to go to a net cafe after school, just like I'd planned to do. The cafe's name was At Cafe. It was the one place I liked going. It was along Center Street in Shibuya. There were a lot of loser salarymen and DQN 3D girls here. But you got your own personal room, so it didn't matter. The room I was in, room 37, was kind of my personal spot. It was the one furthest back in the cafe. It sucked when you wanted to get some of the free soda, but it was relatively quiet because not many people came by. I would always come here once or twice a week on my way home from school, so that I could log into ESO under a different ID. It was my way of relaxing. Nightheart was too well known, you see. I enjoyed being famous, but having to be the hero everyone looked up to all the time was stressful. That's why I like to play with a different avatar sometimes. This character was a girl. Her name was Lisilati? Whatever. It didn't really have many big accomplishments to her name, though. Whenever I played as her, I made sure other characters got the glory. I worked out some stress by playing for 3 hours. Damn. Just grinding, never really doing any hard content. Then I talked about dumb stuff and some naughty stuff with the rest of my guild. By the time I left the cafe, it was almost 9 p.m. Center Street at this hour was filled with DQNs. They would sit on the sidewalk like they owned the place, eating fast food and laughing in their disgusting voices. It made me want to vomit. And if you made eye contact with them, they'd get mad and attack you. They were barbarians. No, they weren't even human. They were worse than that. They were animals. They didn't have a shred of common social decency or intelligence. I wish they would all just die. God damn. I mean it too. It wasn't something I was just saying. But just dealing with them was a waste of time. and I wasn't the kind of guy to waste time, so I quickly left Center Street. Yeah, I'm sure that's why you ran off. After leaving cafe, I would always stop at either the nearby Manga Darke or the Anime Light that was a little further away. Today, I decided to go to Anime Light and headed for the station's south entrance. There were far fewer DQNs here. Really, Center Street was pure chaos. Just walking through there made it hard to breathe. If I could have, I would have rather never gone there at all. I wish they'd just tear the whole place down, leaving only At Cafe and Manga Darke. Holy shit, I'm mispronouncing that so bad. Anyway, it was time to look at some manga and Dojinshi. Oh, and Bloodtoon's 5th DVD was probably about to go up for pre-order. At some point, I found myself on a narrow street in Maruyamsho. This was a route I used on my way back to the base from Anime Light. I forced myself to blink several times. Then I took a look inside my bag. There were a few textbooks along with a portable game system. But I hadn't bought anything at Anime today. Usually, I always make sure to buy at least one thing. I sighed and started to walk. From here, it was less than 15 minutes to the base. You didn't have to get that far from the station for all the people. Oh no. Station for all the lights and neon to disappear, along with most of the people. At most, you saw middle-aged couples heading for the hotels, or salarymen heading to their homes nearby. It was quiet and calm. It was hard to believe that this was the same Shibuya as Center Street, with its horrors of DQNs. It was cloudy tonight, and the moon was hidden. The street seemed even darker than usual.
まただ。
Oh god, again. I knew the route well, with its filthy, dark street. But today it felt strange, like I'd wandered into another world. Everything looked the same as always, but it felt like I was coming here for the first time. And there was this odd smell, like rotting garbage. Can we use a different route, my guy? I could feel the humidity clinging to my skin. If I had known better, I would have assumed it had just rained. The air felt sticky.
いや、ちょっと待った。
No, hang on. What did I mean again? I'd felt a sense of deja vu before. When was it? Damn it, I was getting reality and my delusions mixed up. That was what the psychologist on TV said would happen if you played too many video games. Either way, it felt like I was coming here for the first time. And that wasn't all. I felt a prickling on the back of my neck. A feeling like somebody was looking down at me. I wasn't imagining it. No matter how fast I tried to walk, the gaze kept following me. Somebody was watching me right now. Their gaze was so powerful I could physically feel it. I wanted to look back, but I decided not to. This was a game I sometimes played with myself. Whenever I heard a small sound or felt like somebody was watching me, I'd play the "I'm not turning around that easy" game. If I turned around, I lost. Usually, whenever I felt the gaze, I had delusions about ghosts or monsters with incredibly scary faces. Yet, throughout all 17 years of my life, I had never turned around and actually seen something there. I'd kind of started to enjoy this game, since I knew I was probably safe. I'd listen for a moment, then raise an eyebrow in suspicion. Then I'd say a line from a manga. It wasn't that I was too scared to turn around, okay?
貴様、見ているな。
Hey, you want a piece
そ
of
の目
me?
誰の目？
Whose eyes are
なんちゃっ
those?
て。
Just kidding. I tried to desperately remind myself that I wasn't scared, but the next thing I knew, I'd stopped walking. I could feel the tension in the air change slightly. My face was damp with sweat and my knees were threatening to buckle. I gave in and turned around. I lost the game, But of course, there was nobody there, not even a passing car. Why did everything feel so strange all of a sudden? Oh, the ringing in my ears had stopped. I only noticed after the sound stopped. Until that moment, there had been a sound like a ringing in my ears. But I hadn't been aware of it at all. Now I couldn't hear anything. It was suddenly dead silent, far too silent for the middle of a city. It felt like any sound would be crystal clear. I closed my eyes tight to listen. I couldn't hear anything. This was weird. This was weird, right? Usually you could hear the sounds of distant trains, cars, horns, faint noises like that. So why were my ears broken? I wanted to scream as loud as I could. I felt like if I didn't, I'd go crazy. But I couldn't. It was so quiet and it felt like if I broke the silence, something terrible would happen. Oh, that scared me. Suddenly, a single sound shattered the silent world. I looked ahead and saw many shiny things lying on the dark ground. They were scattered all over the asphalt. Crosses. The moment I realized what they were, my legs unfroze and began to move forward. I picked one of them up. It was metal, and its long tip was sharp, like a needle. A stake? A nail? It was strangely shaped, so I'd mistaken it for a cross. I gripped the stake, dazed. I could hear it, a faint sound of some kind of echoing. Sounds like a fucking train. A cold sound, one that would make your blood turn to ice. It would start, then stop, then start again. My legs kept moving forward. I walked on, as if drawn to the source of the sound. Was it just a desire to see something scary? Maybe I wanted somebody to save me, to rescue me by plucking me out of this world of silence? It was like something from an old German fairy tale. Which one was it again? Oh right, the Pied Piper Hamelin, where the piper leads over 100 children on a march with the sound of his flute. The sound kept going. It was an awful sound, like something hitting something else. As I walked on, it kept getting closer. It was coming from the back of the narrow alley on the left. Once I rounded the corner, I'd see what it was. For some reason, I didn't think to turn around. The very idea of turning around never occurred to me. It was like I wasn't in control of my own body. I walked around the corner and saw... It's getting fucking scary. In the darkness, brilliant red. Oh shit. First thing I thought was that I had seen something like it before. Also, that it didn't look real at all. Maybe a few screws broke loose in my mind, and my sense had just become numb. In normal conditions, I would have screamed, fallen back on my butt, and peed myself right then and there. Something that looked like, a porcupine or maybe a pincushion. Countless stakes were nailed into the wall. As I stared at it, I realized that red blood was pouring out from beneath the stakes. The brilliant red I'd seen was a pool of blood. Faint light from the street lamps outside the alley just barely reached in, making the red glisten. There were also all these little glistening piles of something. It kind of looked like hunks of meat. I tried to swallow, but my throat was parched dry. There wasn't a single drop of saliva in my mouth. I'd realized the thing nailed to the wall by those stakes was a human corpse. This was so far removed from my everyday life, so brutal, so overwhelming. The one who had done it, the one who'd pounded all these stakes into raw concrete, was a single young girl. How could I tell? She was standing right there in front of the corpse, holding stakes in her blood-stained hand. Her back was turned, so I couldn't tell what the look on her face was. The uniform she was wearing, it was Sumei's. The awful smell, like raw, rotting garbage, clung to my nostrils even more firmly. Every few seconds, I felt like I was about to throw up. I put my hand over my mouth so that I wouldn't vomit. And then I finally realized where the sense of deja vu I'd been having came from.
あの時の
Pictures in Shogun's links.
リンク写真
I didn't realize I'd spoken aloud. Oh, until it was too late. This would prove to be a fatal mistake. I saw the girl's shoulders twitch as she heard my voice. Then she slowly turned around. How the fuck did you get here so fast? Her gaze pierced me. Her eyes were so flat and empty. She had killed him. Oh. She looked at me with startled, wide eyes. Her expression then shifted to something that combined a smile with tears. And then,
よかった
so glad, she whispered. Glad? Glad about what? Why would anybody be glad about anything right now? It didn't make sense. It was so bizarre I felt a cold chill run down my spine and quickly looked away. It suddenly occurred to me that I didn't want to get involved in anything weird. Yeah, brother. I couldn't talk to real girls anyway. Also, she was a murderer. The cops were on their way. I was hungry too. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, time to go home. Time to leave. Otherwise, I'd go crazy. Taku, oh god, she knows my name. Suddenly, she said my name, but I hadn't introduced myself. I had never even seen her before.
あなたに
Oh
会いた
god,
かった
I wanted to meet you. Fuck, she knows I'm the dude from the game. Her lips curled upward into a terrible grin, like a demon. Ah! I screamed. And as I screamed, I ran. I kept yelling until my throat hurt, running as fast as I could. Just once, I looked back. She wasn't following me. Oh my god, that's pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie. I was out of breath. I could hear the sound of my own panting. I was sitting in front of my computer monitor. My whole body was soaked with sweat, and my clothes were too. What did I just see? Was that a delusion of mine? I'd have no idea, brother. I still felt like I was about to throw up. So I went to the fridge, got a soda, and gulped it down. It was a really realistic delusion, if I did say so myself, but way too gory. I was even still out of breath. If it was just a delusion, how could I be out of breath? That was impossible. I felt something strange in my right hand. I was holding it so tightly that my fingers had turned white. Until that moment, I hadn't even realized it. Oh, he brought back the fucking cross thing. My heart pounding, I slowly relaxed my grip and opened my palm. Fuck. It was a single steak. Scared, I flung it at the wall. It was a steak from the delusion. I remembered picking up one of the ones lying on the ground. But why? Wasn't that a delusion? I don't understand. I don't understand. It's impossible. Impossible. Bro, stop tweaking the fuck out. You're gonna make me start fucking... I began to wander around the room, clutching my head in my hands. I needed to figure out what I had just seen. If what I had just seen was a delusion or reality. Holy shit. But before I could, I slipped on one of the CD cases on the floor and lost my balance. I reached out, trying to grab something so I wouldn't fall. The only thing in reach was a shelf where all my wives resided. Oh god. By the time I realized what had happened, it was too late. I couldn't hold my weight, and I ended up falling back onto the floor as figure after figure poured down on me. Oh, damn it. This was just awful. Everything was just awful. I moaned, then started to see if my figures were okay. God damn! Oh, he broke it. I thought he got stabbed or something. The sword from my Ignis stand from Shinkai Makayo. It had broken clean in two. I'd bought that thing in an online auction and had to pay a whole bunch for it.
ふざけんなよ
I tried to put the sword back together, but even gluing it together wouldn't really fix it. It was worthless
マ
now.
ジで勘弁してくれよクソクソ
Yeah, I'll get those. I kicked my chair in anger. Then I started to cry. It's all good, man. Why did this have to happen to me? What did I do? I sat down and glumly stared at my now swordless Ignis. What was that? When the anger and confusion passed, I turned my mind towards the girl's face and the strange sight I'd seen. Yeah, for real. The fact that I was holding the stake meant that the murder was real, not a delusion. I didn't want to admit it, but I had no choice. By tomorrow, the media would be in an uproar. I wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Let's fucking hope no one saw your dumbass. If I got involved with her, no, it wasn't her. It was some kind of monster. I'd be done for. I was already pretty close to screwed anyway. I had taken a murder weapon home with me. The police might even think I was the killer. And that demon saw my face. There was no escaping this now. Next, she'd come after me. I needed to think. For my own sake, I needed to think. So I could get out of this alive.
間違いない
I'm sure
あ
of
の
it.
写真は事件の予告メッセージみたいなものだったんだ
Those photos were a message predicting the murder. There was no other explanation for how it happened, just like in the photos. First, the girl put together fake photos on the computer, simulating exactly how the murder would happen. That was her way of making the murder. No, I bet she'd want to call it a work of art instead of a murder. Psychopaths like her always thought that way. That was her way of making sure it was perfect.
頭がおかしいよ
She's
でも
crazy.
どうしてそれを僕にそもそもあの女はナイトハルトが僕だってどうやって知った僕の名前をどうやって知った
Why me? How did she know that I was Nightheart? Anyway, how did she find out my name? What was I supposed to do? She'd be coming for me before long. She knew my name and my email, so she probably knew my address too. I pulled my legs up onto the chair and crossed my hands over my knees, then buried my head between them. The murder I'd seen yesterday was sheer madness. Just the thought of it happening to
死
me.
にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない
Calm. Well, I can't say calm down because that's some fucking crazy shit.
大丈夫
It's okay. Oh my goodness, what the fuck, man? Just when I think this game's going somewhere, it fucking, hits my ass with a hard curveball. Sarah was lying in front of my PC monitor, smiling at me.
タッキーあなたはこの部屋に引きこもってればいいんだよしたらあの悪魔だって手出しできないっしょ
My guy needs to take his fucking meds. Taki, all you have to do is stay here in your room. Then the demon won't be able to get you, right?
そのうちに警察がうまく捕まえてくれるって
If you wait long enough, the cops will catch
そ
her.
れまでは誰も信じちゃダメ誰の言葉にも耳を傾けちゃダメ
Until that happens, don't believe anybody. Don't listen to anything
悪
anyone
魔って
says.
さ人の心の隙間をついてくるのが好きなんだよね油断すんのはノ
I mean, I guess she's trying to look out for you, right? Demons like to take advantage of the weaknesses in people's hearts. So no letting your
でき
guard
るで
down.
しょタッキー
You can do that, right,
でも
Taki?
セーラ
逃げるが勝ちってよく言うし
The best way to win sometimes is to run away.
3次元のことなんてきれいさっぱり忘れちゃえばいいさあなたには一切関係ないことだって思えば気が楽っしょ
Just forget all about the 3D world. Think of it as having nothing to do with you at all. Then it's much easier, right?
関係ないこと考えたって無駄無駄さ
If it has nothing to do with you, then there's no point in thinking about it
い
at
い
all.
こと教えてあげる引きこもりって最強なんよだって誰にも会わないっしょ つまり誰にも攻撃されない。これぞ最強の自己防衛方法なわけさ。
Let me give you some advice. Hikikomori are the strongest people in the world. They don't have to interact with anyone, which means nobody can attack them. Being a hikikomori is the strongest way to protect
だから
yourself.
タッキーは引きこもりになるべきなんさ。簡単っしょ。
So Taki, you should be a hikikomori. It's easy, right?
そうかもしれない。
Maybe you're right. That's why she was my wife after all. She was really smart. I leaned forward and gently grasped Sierra Tan's thin waist. Oh my goodness. Even when my face got close to hers, Sierra Tan didn't seem upset at all. She just kept
ありが
smiling.
とうセイラ。おかげで勇気が出てきた。
Thank you, Sarah. I feel a lot better now.
そうだよ。3次元なんてクソくらいだ。あの悪魔だって、
ん
僕みたいなキモオタのことなんて気にも留めてないさ。
That's right. The 3D world can eat shit. That demon probably doesn't even care about a creepy otaku like me.
僕は安全だ。安心して毎日演奏したり、好きなアニメを見てれば何の問題もないんだ。
I'm safe. All I have to do is just watch my favorite anime and play ESO all day. And I'll be just fine.
でもさっき言ったみたく油断は禁物だぞ。
Don't forget what I said. No letting your guard down.
分かってるよ。
Yeah, I know. Don't believe in anybody. Don't listen to anything anyone says. Beware of anything 3D. That was all I had to do, and I'd be safe.
セイラにそこまで心配してもらえて、僕は幸せだな。
I'm a lucky man to have Sarah care about me so much.
さてと、それじゃ気分直しに演スロット。
Now then, time for some ESO grinding.
Ryan Cross, Ryan Cross, 約束は
Holy shit, I'm gonna call it there. I don't even know what the fuck I'm supposed to do.